Hey there, and welcome back to Bold Byte, where we explore the most interesting and controversial topics in history, culture, and technology. Today, we're taking a closer look at Africa's dark past and highlighting 10 inhumane historical events that have left a lasting impact on the continent. Let's dive in. 1. First up, we have the Transatlantic Slave Trade. This brutal system of forced transportation and enslavement of millions of Africans to the Americas and Europe lasted for over 400 years, and it remains one of the most inhumane events in human history. Millions of Africans were forcibly taken from their homes, stripped of their identities, and subjected to brutal treatment, torture, and death. 2. Next, we have the Herero and Namaqua Genocide, which took place in present-day Namibia between 1904 and 1908. This genocide was perpetrated by German colonial forces, who systematically killed, starved, and abused the Herero and Namaqua people. It is estimated that up to 100,000 people were killed in this brutal campaign. 3. The Scramble for Africa is another inhumane historical event that had far-reaching consequences for the continent. Between 1881 and 1914, European powers partitioned and colonized Africa, often using brutal tactics and violence to subjugate and exploit African peoples. This period of colonization resulted in the loss of African autonomy, the destruction of local cultures and economies, and the exploitation of natural resources. 4. The Rwandan Genocide is one of the most recent and well-known inhumane historical events in Africa. In 1994, extremist Hutus in Rwanda killed up to 1 million Tutsis and moderate Hutus in a mass killing campaign that lasted 100 days. This genocide was marked by horrific acts of violence, including the use of machetes, guns, and rape as weapons of war. 5. The Congo Free State, which existed between 1885 and 1908, was another dark chapter in African history. This personal fiefdom of Belgian King Leopold II was marked by forced labor, violence, and mass killings that resulted in the deaths of up to 10 million Congolese people. The atrocities committed during this period of colonization have had lasting impacts on the Congo and its people. 6. Apartheid is a system of racial segregation and discrimination that was enforced by the South African government from 1948 to 1994. This system resulted in widespread human rights abuses and mass oppression of black South Africans, who were denied basic rights, such as the right to vote, to own property, and to receive an education. 7. The slave trade in Zanzibar, which took place in the 19th century, involved the forced labor and exploitation of thousands of Africans, many of whom were transported to the Middle East and the Persian Gulf. This trade in human lives had a devastating impact on families and communities, and it was fueled by the global demand for cheap labor. 8. The Biafra War was a conflict that took place in Nigeria between 1967 and 1970. The war was sparked by a secessionist movement in the Igbo-dominated region of Biafra, which declared independence from Nigeria. The conflict resulted in the deaths of over 1 million people, many of whom were civilians who died from starvation and disease caused by the Nigerian government's blockade of Biafra. 9. The Mau Mau Uprising was a rebellion against British colonial rule that took place in Kenya between 1952 and 1960. The Mau Mau fighters sought to end British colonialism and establish an independent Kenya. The British responded with brutal force, torturing and killing thousands of Kenyans and detaining many more in concentration camps. 10. Finally, we have the slave raids of East Africa, which took place in the 19th century and involved the forced abduction and enslavement of thousands of people from East Africa to the Arabian Peninsula and the Indian Ocean islands. These raids were often carried out by Arab traders and resulted in the loss of countless lives and the destruction of entire communities. And there you have it, 10 inhumane historical events in Africa that have left a lasting impact on the continent and its people. While these events are certainly difficult to confront, it's important to remember them and to learn from them, so that we can create a better future for all. Thanks for tuning in to Bold Byte, and we'll see you next time.